Did back when I did Series 2 for my DVDs, back in the day they were VHS tapes, but now they're DVDs. I actually did shoot a street fighting video. I just didn't release it because 3/4 of it we were kind of having fun, like taking a piss, as the British would say. We were joking around with the whole subject, like our knife defense, right? Where this guy has a knife and then you zoom out and you realize they're on a track, and then one guy just runs as fast as he can around the track while the other person chases him with a knife. And we're like, should I put this out? And I'm like, no. So I think Steve and 2 or 3 other people were the only people that saw it. But my other reason behind that is because the whole subject kind of pisses me off. It hits a nerve, and I'll tell you why. So you have things like Krav Maga and Systema, Systema is ridiculous, right? Anybody that looks at a Systema video and thinks that might work, you need to take a critical thinking class. But so you have these different arts, and what happens is a lot of people, and this is not their fault, but a lot of people might have been nerds in high school or whatever, and they're insecure, and they have this idea, they want to learn how to fight, and they have this idea of like it would be cool to be like Steven Seagal and beat up like 2 or 3 football players in the parking lot while your girlfriend happened to be there watching, that kind of thing. And the Krav Maga guys, this is like Israeli military fighting art, that kind of thing, they exploit those weaknesses. So when you go to those seminars and different martial arts conventions, I've sadly seen this myself, you have like a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons kids. Dude, I was a Dungeons and Dragons kid, so I'm not making fun of it. You got a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons kids and a bunch of fat survivalist guys, right? Fat guys in camouflage who are there for survival and self-defense. You know how I know they're not there for survival and self-defense? Because they're really fat. Because if you were there for survival and self-defense, the first thing you do is lose weight. Because what's more likely? You're going to get attacked by 2 guys with a knife and have to do some kind of Russian commando shit, or you're going to die of a heart attack because your cholesterol's too high. So if you're really interested in self-defense, you get in shape, take care of your body, you put your seatbelt on when you drive, you wouldn't be like 450 pounds in camouflage. So right away we know there's psychological cognitive dissonance with these people. But anyway, they get exploited by those guys who tell them that they're teaching street fighting stuff. And then if they go with the system and stay long enough, which costs lots of money, eventually they get to the end and they have to take an instructor's test. And you know what the instructor's test is? It's an MMA bout. And you know where they go to train for that? My gym. So I've had like 6 or 7 guys that were going for their high-level Krav Maga test, and they come to my gym to learn boxing and wrestling and MMA. And I put them on the mat with a blue belt, or God forbid, in the cage with one of my amateur MMA fighters, and they just get tortured because they have absolutely no idea how to fight. And there you go. So, and here's the other point. Besides just the reality of that fact, that once they get in a fight, and then the delivery systems kick in once the adrenaline's going, and then it's back to just how good of a wrestler, boxer, and jiu-jitsu player are you. Besides that fact, if you take that same group of people that's getting exploited by them, is scared and insecure, and after 10 years of doing it, is going to be more scared and insecure because the shit that they're doing doesn't really work. Or they're going to be delusional and maybe pick a fight with the wrong person and then discover it the hard way. If you give me that same group of people after a year or 2 years doing what we do, just the sports part, whether it's just wrestling or just jiu-jitsu or any of that, then they become more confident. They actually do learn some skills that they could apply in a fight. And all those benefits that they thought they were going to get from street Aikido or Krav Maga or whatever the bullshit is, they actually get from what we do from sports. So that's why the whole street fighting thing, mindset, is backwards, right? Just keep that in mind. So that's why I don't really cater to that audience. Having said that, it is fun when we do take the jiu-jitsu and we say, look how easily you can beat somebody up and do this kind of stuff. It is enjoyable. So we're taking advantage of that part right now. But keep that in mind when you do the advertising for the street stuff. Right? Those are people that are being exploited because they're not learning anything like you guys are learning here. That's for sure. All right, so anyway, you get in a fight and the person's not going to, there's 3 ways you're going to win that fight. Okay? Assuming they're not just going to run away or police or friends are going to come in and break it up. Either major bodily trauma from knocking them unconscious or breaking joints on their body, or you choke them, or they run away. That's it. And out of those 3 ways, like you can't count on the fact they're going to run away, and you can't count on major bodily trauma. This is a story I used to tell is absolutely true, but you guys remember Randall Tex Cobb? Mm-hmm. He's a movie star. He was in raised in Arizona. He usually plays a biker. Mm-hmm. But what you might not know, if you guys aren't as old as I am, is he used to be heavyweight boxer. He did have a championship fight with Larry Holmes. And that was back when I think it was 15 rounds. 15 rounds. He went 15 rounds with Larry Holmes. And let me tell you something about Randall Texas Cobb. As a boxer, he kind of sucks. Like, he doesn't really have any defense. He doesn't know how to slip. Wasn't that guy. So what I'm telling you is for 15 rounds, Larry Holmes hit him as hard as he could in the head, and Randall Texas Cobb stood there and never got knocked down once. What that tells me is you could give me a baseball bat and I won't be able to knock Randall Texas Cobb down. It's just not going to happen. And funny story, one of my friends that knows him, that's what happened. He got in some kind of altercation, got out of his truck, some guys ran behind him, hit him in the back of the head with a baseball bat. He turned around, grabbed the baseball bat, and knocked the guys out. So, point behind my story is you have people out there that are walking around like this through natural selection, some kind of genetic mutation or whatever, and you can't depend on winning fights by beating people unconscious. And you know, all kinds of police officers have all kinds of stories, people on methamphetamine or crack or tequila and whatever combination thereof, and they get in a domestic altercation with their dad who hits them in the throat with a golf club or whatever. Police arrive and there's a guy going crazy and there's a steak knife sticking out of his head. He's been hit twice in the back of the face with you know, a mallet, and then he's still going. And it takes 8 or 9 of those cops to get this guy down and control him. It happens. It happens every day. So having said all that, the only surefire way you have to put somebody out, no matter how much crack they smoked that morning, is a choke. Because once you cut off their blood supply, no matter how big they are, you count to 3, they're going to go to sleep. And then you can tie them to a tree and do whatever you want. So that's why it's always good when you're thinking street instead of thinking punch, punch, punch. Even though, you know, there's a part of us from our ancestors which, you know, enjoys that. It's good just to put them away with a choke. And with a t-shirt, the simplest one is this one. So come here, Matt. This always works. You just got to get the grip right. That's everything else. So we're mounted. Right, I'm going to grab, and I'm going to grab at the side. I hope you don't mind me stretching the shirt out. No. Grab at the side, so right, see where the line is right there? Top of the shoulder. I'm going to grab there, pull it up. I'm going to reach and see how that lifts his head up. So you're in here, you're hitting, I'm going to grab, pull it up, and then my hand's going to come behind, my thumb's going to go in. Nice bite, and then I sit up.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. If I didn't let go 2 seconds after that tap, he'd pass out. I call it the rat choke, but so here, pull up, hand behind. I feed this thumb in front of my fingers. Nice bite, sit up. And that's the end of the fight. It's a lot smoother and you don't hurt your hands. Okay, go ahead and add that in.